All right, so hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope all of you are doing great, enjoying your summer. So we're gonna check out this video called 10 scariest things found buried underground. So yeah, I'm not gonna ramble or anything. Let's get straight into this reaction video.
Earth has swallowed many secrets over the years. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually almost everything comes to the surface, and when it does, all that's left to do
What kind of voice? Why is he talking?
is accidentally stumble upon
Is it just me?
Number 10. A construction crew is demolishing a parking lot in Philadelphia when they make a historic and horrifying find. The crew was supposed to be building new apartments, but the project quickly switches to an excavation operation as heavy cranes lift casket after casket out of the ground. These caskets are over 300 years old and contain actual human remains. An old church and cemetery used to be here in the 1700s, and all of the caskets were supposed to have been relocated to a different cemetery sometime in the 1860s. Whoever was in charge of the operation lied and said they moved the bodies when they did not, probably to cut costs. This means for hundreds of years, people have been walking over top these unmarked caskets without knowing it. By the way, this happened somewhere around 2nd and Arch Street in Old City, so let me know if you may have passed over them. Number 9.
Come on, this guy's voice, you guys. It cannot just be me.
YouTuber named Metal Detecting 24 is in the
No disrespect.
woods doing exactly what his screen name says. When his equipment starts beeping over some planks of wood, he curiously lifts the wooden covering and finds a small metal trash can buried a couple of feet underground. The only thing left to do now is open the lid and see what anyone could have possibly left for him out in the middle of nowhere. He removes the trash can from the hole and braces himself for the worst. Inside is the head of a female mannequin with a blade taped to the right side. Both her face and the interior of the garbage can are covered with red paint in what appears to be a morbid simulation of a heinous act. Why anyone would want to create this, let alone leave it in the forest for others to find, is beyond me. Hopefully this is just creative artistic
Beyond me too.
expression and not the inner workings of a deranged psychopath lurking around in the woods. Either way, Metal Detecting 24 is understandably creeped out at this point. He documents the event for a bit longer and then quickly leaves the area before its maker gets a chance to come back. Number 8. A construction crew is busy building a new road in Dorset, England, when they come across a patch of ordinary-looking land housing an ancient secret. This seemingly nondescript area happens to be the final resting site of no less than 51 unidentified bodies. To be more specific, one pile was nothing but the bodies, and another pile was all of their grimacing heads neatly arranged in rows. Scientists were eventually able to determine through DNA testing that these were the remains of Scandinavian Vikings who were captured in battle
Scandinavian Vikings. I'm from Sweden.
Had their heads removed.
Full of Vikings over there.
Scientists were able to identify their country of origin by examining traces of microscopic food particles left within their teeth. On the day of their discovery, however, all that the construction workers knew was that they had found dozens of bodies with no heads. I can only imagine what was going through their minds as they tried to make sense of the grisly scene. Number 7.
That's some Viking activity right there.
A YouTuber named Craig Wilson was doing some home repairs when he noticed a small hole in his backyard. He opened it up a little more and was shocked at what he found waiting down below.
This hole goes down, down, down.
Whoa!
A giant cavern.
It's a gigantic earthen cavern extending a full 16 feet straight down. Craig wonders out loud if this was natural or man-made as he continues to videotape from a dizzying height. Craig quickly had the hole filled the next day, but he'll never forget about the huge underground threat that was once threatening his home. He and his wife think that it was probably a well about 60 or 70 years ago, but they aren't positive. I'm just relieved that the hole didn't widen while he was standing over the edge. Number 6. A YouTuber named Michael Delaney is flying his drone when he comes across a wild animal in the brush.
No.
He follows its path and soon finds himself hovering above a den of rattlesnakes.
Oh my god.
Michael is casually observing their natural habitat when suddenly one of them feels threatened enough to react. The drone is fine, but the snake managed
Oh yeah, I forgot it was a drone. Oh my god.
to dislodge the camera. Now the situation gets a whole lot more real, as Michael realizes he will have to somehow reach into an underground pit of snakes if he wants to see his GoPro again. Thinking fast, he wisely chooses to go in with a hockey stick instead of his bare hands. He balances the GoPro on the end of the stick and pulls it to safety. Keep in mind that he's standing
I'm sorry, if that was my GoPro, RIP to that one. I will be long gone.
in tall grass and could have easily been bit by a stray rattler. Yes. Let me know if you think you're brave enough to do the same thing, or if you would have just left your camera with the reptiles.
Yes.
Number 5. When a YouTuber named Aqua Chigger stumbles across a fallen tree, something compels him to take a look inside. He immediately spots an unusual fragment in the freshly upturned earth.
Weird. What do you think?
Is it a bone?
This prompts him to look inside of the hole. He doesn't see anything else at first, but then...
Ooh, what's that? Stuff might just have gotten real, guys.
It's a piece of green fabric that Aqua Chigger hopes is just a tent. When he finds buttons, however, he knows that this is somebody's blouse. He finds some more remains and turns them over and over again, trying to determine if they are human or not. He notes that they are right by the highway, and even says that police found a different body in a creek not too far from here. He eventually finds the jaw of a deer and some other scattered animal remains, so he decides not to call the police, even if this was just animal remains.
So, an animal is wearing a shirt now? That's what his conclusion was? Of course it's a human.
Still doesn't explain the fabric he found, nor does it explain how a couple of other bones look like they possibly could have belonged to a human. Let me know what you think this was, and if you think he came across something that should have been reported. Number 4. A YouTuber named Charles M is checking out an old house for sale in Las Vegas that was supposedly owned by the mafia. At one point during the tour, he comes across a fake wall in the kitchen and follows an old set of stairs down to a secret basement. The basement extends for a long time further and further underground, eventually opening up into a long white room that's completely bare, except for cabinets lining the far wall. Connected to this room are 2 other smaller rooms about the size of a closet. They each give him a bad feeling. The 2 smaller rooms are dark and soundproof. Strangest of all, the doors only have knobs on the outside. I don't know why the mob would have needed a soundproof room.
He don't know.
That nobody could escape
I don't know
from,
either,
and I don't want to know. That's all he finds. Hidden inside the ventilation shaft of one of the rooms is what appears to be a single spent bullet casing. Number 3. A YouTuber named Mr. Technical Difficult and his friends are hanging out by a river when they see an old abandoned cooler on the other side. They don't pay much attention to it at first, but after a while they grow curious as to what could possibly be inside. Finally, they can't take the suspense anymore and decide to retrieve the floating container. What they find inside is troubling.
Open the hatch.
They remove an excessive amount of masking tape and pop the lid only to see a black-eyed doll peering back at them. The creepy doll is dressed in red suspenders and its head is turned directly towards the camera.
I don't know, it looks like that one is in too good shape, like the whole
No one knows what to make of this unsettling discovery, and they all stand around for a bit laughing nervously. To this day, the group has absolutely no explanation as to how or why this doll was sealed and sent down the river, or more importantly, who is responsible for this strange message. Number 2. Members of the YouTube channel TFIL is on a guided tour of some Egyptian ruins when they decide to sneak away and do some exploring of their own. They ditch the tour guide and split up into separate groups to cover more ground. At one point, TFIL makes a strange discovery in a random pile of nearby rubble, which he quickly shows the rest of his group as soon as they meet up again. They assume it's a piece of someone's backbone, but they can't tell if it belongs to a person or an animal.
Anybody else want to hold a skull?
People don't like to see
seriously?
Because not allowed.
Whoa.
Don't send it for internet, this one, please.
Huh?
You don't send it from internet.
It's hard to tell if this is an original discovery made by TFIL, or if an archaeologist previously dug this item up, cleaned it, and left it in a pile for later. Or because it wasn't an important discovery, eventually their tour group finds human remains, which the group silently observes and reluctantly passes around. Who knows what else they would have unearthed that day, just with a little more digging. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that video to find out the number 1 entry. Also follow me on Twitter at in fact that generosity makes you a happier person. Thank you. Number 1. One Christmas morning, construction workers in Augsburg, Germany were stunned to unearth a giant device dating all the way back to World War II. The live charge weighed 1.8 tons and could have easily gone off just from making contact. With their heavy digging equipment, police immediately evacuated over 54,000 people from the city, while a squad transported the war artifact far away and detonated it. If it had gone off, experts predicted the blast radius would have covered nearly 1 full mile in all directions. You may dread school, but not as much as the people on this list. All of them claim to have experienced supernatural.
Alright, you guys. That was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Comment down below other videos you want me to react to, subscribe, and all the good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.